Hello to everyone and welcome to Energy Capital News. I'm Anna Tafoya and today I'm very pleased to introduce April Christensen, Manager for Business Development with Invenergy. April, who is also the lead developer for Invenergy's Samson Solar Energy Center, expected to become America's largest, will talk with us about the women behind this incredible project. April, it's great to see you today. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
So I'll start with our first question. April, could you tell us more about the Samson Solar Energy Center project that Invenergy is currently developing in Texas?
Absolutely. The Samson Solar Energy Project is a very large solar project located about a 2-hour drive northeast of Dallas. It will be the nation's largest once it's fully built. It's 1,310 megawatts. And so we're getting into gigawatt scale in terms of project size. It is also about 18,000 acres. We'll probably talk a little bit later about community involvement and our landowners, but we have about 80 landowners that are involved in our project. And it's spread across 3 counties. And those counties are Franklin, Lamar, and Red River County. So we have a lot of community support for this project, and we're really excited to be able to bring this to scale.
And from your experience, what is the importance of having close communication with local communities in any energy project, but especially for the Samson Solar Energy Center?
Well, I think the biggest thing that, most people in the energy industry know is that land and landowners is literally the foundation of a project. Without land, you can't build. And so it's something that's really important to us as a company to make sure we're engaging with landowners and communities and make sure that this project will benefit them for years to come. I think it's a very important piece that Invenergy is really good at doing early on in the process, engaging with county governments, schools, landowners, local chamber of commerce places in terms of being able to make sure we're sourcing some of our work locally if possible. And so it's a really key part of Invenergy's approach. And I think we always hope to be a very good neighbor because we will be in that community for many years. And so we want to make sure to establish those relationships really early on.
How is this project embracing sustainability, inclusion, and breaking industry records?
I think it's really interesting with this project specifically, how large it is, but also the diversity of the offtake that we have at this project. And so this is really an interesting time in renewables to see the amount of corporate, companies that are looking into renewables and what they can do to improve their sustainability. For example, some of our power purchase agreements that are buying the electricity are with entities like Google and AT&T. You have everything from how you communicate down to maybe your car, because we have one with Honda, to where you eat. So we also have one part of the project is going to McDonald's. And so there's a lot of portions of the offtake that I think is really interesting to see. It's a cross section of just your daily life. We have utilities, which are more typical for buying electricity, but then also some really innovative structures that are able to show consumers that these corporate entities are taking sustainability really seriously. And so it's exciting that Invenergy gets to be engaged in that. And help to bring these projects to life that can help enable these corporate sustainability goals.
In your opinion, April, how did Invenergy make it possible to establish an all-women-led team for this project?
Since my time at Invenergy, I'll have been at Invenergy for 5 years in June. When I first started, compared to now, a very large increase in the number of women that are working on projects. And so it's been really exciting to see that. I think Invenergy has set up some really good structures to make sure we are attracting and retaining women in our company. it's been exciting to see on the Samson project specifically, the amount of women that we have working on it. Everything from the executive, management level that helps with the strategy and makes sure that we're, thinking about larger issues, down to implementation, which is my level in terms of making these projects happen. I know in the article, there's a mention of Kate Woodson, who is my counterpart on the construction side. That's a very, very close relationship in terms of making sure we can move this project forward. And then everybody from environmental to finance, down to our legal team. We have women in every one of those aspects of our project development. It takes a very large team to put together a very large project, but really any project, it takes a lot of different components to be able to bring something to life. So it's been exciting to see, but also for me, those are just the people I work with. It's you have to take a step back to realize how many great and very smart women we have working on this project.
Also from the project's experience, April, what's the relevance of highlighting and recognizing women's presence in the energy sector?
This is a very important piece. I think there's a couple different aspects of this. Some of this is highlighting women so that younger women who might be thinking of careers see women in the industry and can see that that could be a career path for them. It's also important from the side of women who are in companies that are mainly in male-dominated industries. Energy has historically been leans very heavily towards being mostly males. And so it's a really important piece to be able to just provide women that touch point, that there are others that are like them in other parts of the industry. And then I think also on like a higher level, really showing these women who are able to achieve really great things. And so there's some visibility into being able to move them up in their career trajectory, and also making sure that they're being considered for board positions, everything all the way up to C-level. It's important to bring that and highlight that, because it is still somewhat of an issue that we're trying to resolve as an industry. There's been huge growth, huge improvements, but there's always still some room to keep pushing.
What do you think about the number of women in your workspace and in the energy industry overall?
We've seen a lot of growth, like I said a little bit ago, but I also think there's, as I said, some room for improvement, but it's been really exciting to see the changes that have been made. As an example, I think this is a great example. My team that I'm on, my development team, not my Samson project team, but my fellow developers, we have an all-woman team led by my manager, who is also a woman. And it's interesting to me. I think that's very unique to have an all-women team. But we are executing on the largest solar project and the largest wind project that Invenergy has ever done. And that's really exciting, and I'm really proud of my team for being able to pull those things off. And I think it is unique. I don't know that there's another team at Invenergy that is all women, but it has been great to see that. And also, I think from a personal perspective, both of the managers that I have had at Invenergy have been women. And so I think we really are making big strides as a company. It's been exciting to see that this is even, something that could be normal, where there's all women. Obviously, it's good to have diversity on both sides.
Finally, April, what could companies do to increase female participation in leadership positions?
This is obviously not my area of expertise. I lean very heavily on learning trends like this from RISE, the Women of Renewable Industries and Sustainable Energy. So for more specifics, I think they're a really great resource to understand what we're able to do as companies. And they've been a great resource for me throughout my career, providing a really great network. I think there's also a trend where companies are putting in place affiliation groups. so that Invenergy has an Invenergy Women's Network that is a really valuable network to have internally to really connect with those women who are throughout your company. I think that that's a really important piece. Mentorship and sponsorship are a really important piece as well. Having people who are willing to coach women, but also to be able to advocate for women in the promotions and advancement of their career. And so I think that's an important piece. It's been really great to see the mentorship program at Invenergy. I've been fortunate enough to have some really great mentors through that. And I think that's a really key part. And in addition to that, I think there's some level of unconscious bias that is something that all companies are starting to try to address. And I think that's a really great conversation to have. We've had some training at Invenergy, and I think it's an important step to that all of us can acknowledge and move forward in our understanding of each of our own unconscious bias. And I think that's an important piece. It's been exciting to see the companies that are putting those types of trainings in place and moving forward those conversations.
Well, April, thank you very much for sharing these insights and your knowledge with us. I don't know, would you like to add something else regarding the projects you are currently leading or developing in Invenergy?
I think one piece that I might not have mentioned on in the impact side of things that is something that makes me really excited is our relationships with landowners, but also our contributions to the agricultural economy. I think that's a piece that is really important, working with landowners and being able to provide that revenue stream to them to be able to continue ranching and farming. It's something that can provide a more stable revenue stream than what they might see in either the crop or cattle markets. And for me, that's really valuable because I came from an agricultural background, and I think that's something that, for me personally, is something I'm excited to see and to be able to work on with our local communities.